Investor. Time now for some of your thoughts. And Terry in Wisconsin wrote to us, your show should be required viewing for all the politicians in Washington. It is the only one that cares enough to find out how the American people feel about the issues facing us today. Keep up the good work. And thank you for the compliment. Terry in Illinois wrote to us, the only way Americans will get governmental change is by voting for an independent president. We'll have more of your emails later in the broadcast. Mexican drug traffickers responsible for most of the illegal drugs brought into this country, and now they're producing many of their products in the United States. Mexican criminal organizations have built methamphetamine super labs in California. Now, these organizations are responsible for around 80% of the meth used in the United States. And the Drug Enforcement Administration says the Mexican drug gangs are growing high-potency marijuana in this country. Most of their large growing sites are in California. And as Christine Romans reports, the Mexican drug gangs are brazenly growing the marijuana in our national parks and forests.
California's Sierra National Forest is home to more than 1.3 million acres of pristine mountain scenery. It is also home to marijuana growing operations with miles of irrigation, fertilizer, and armed camps of cultivators. Law enforcement put this plot out of business earlier this week.
Right here alone is over 300,000 at a minimum worth of marijuana, and they're all related to Mexican drug trafficking organizations.
Some 300 plants here, there are at least a half dozen other plots connected to it. Surrounded by forest on all sides, it's the perfect location for what state and federal officials call marijuana gardens.
Profit. I mean, it's pure profit. This is pure money out here.
Drug trafficking organizations are prepared to protect their crop at all costs.
We have a half a dozen at least of incidents within the last 3 or 4 years where people were shot and killed. I have people every year that are confronted, like I say, by armed individuals in these gardens.
It's a dangerous situation, to say nothing of the deforestation, the trash, and the chemicals washing into mountain streams. According to the Office of National Drug Control Policy, Mexican drug traffickers cultivate marijuana in national parks and forests in at least 8 states. Right now, late summer is high season in the battle against illegal marijuana on public lands.
These are lands set aside by Congress for the American people to enjoy for generations, and they're being desecrated by these Mexican national drug traffic organizations.
One plant at a time, law enforcement is trying to take back the public's land, and the deputy drug policy chief has a message for Americans.
People in America that are buying and smoking dope, they should know that this is where it comes from. It doesn't come from some nice little garden in somebody's backyard. It comes from drug traffickers. And there is violence involved, weapons involved, shootings every year.
Law enforcement officials say the same brutal organizations that move billions of dollars of drugs through American ports and borders are becoming more entrenched inside the border as well.
Authorities made one arrest at the site we visited, but often by the time the helicopters land, the workers have scattered, moving on to the next location. Officials say the drug traffickers often smuggle people into the country who then work several seasons to pay back their smuggling fees. Kitty?
Those are astonishing pictures, Christine. Thanks.
They really are.
Yeah, thanks very much. And the DEA today announced the breakup of an international drug trafficking ring that operated along the Texas-Mexico border. More than 30 people were arrested in what was called Operation Puma. Now, authorities seized more than 20 tons of marijuana, millions of dollars of drug-related assets from the Mexican-based organization. The DEA said the bust followed a 2.5-year investigation. The National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse today released the results of its survey on teens and drug and alcohol abuse. Now, the center's president and chairman, Joseph Califano, will join me later in the broadcast to discuss this critical issue. The debate over illegal immigration is taking center stage in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. Florida Republican Senator Mel Martinez yesterday blasted Mitt Romney and Rudy Giuliani for their opposition to the Senate's failed compromise on immigration. Martinez was one of the architects of the bill. And Senator John McCain is feeling the consequences of his support of the Senate bill. Senator McCain said his position hurt him with the Republican Party base. And the senator said he had received death threats over his position on illegal immigration. Coming up next, recall after recall of dangerous imports from communist China.